You're very generous.
Okay, there we are.
Everyone's getting into trouble. He's a troubleshooter.
You want to tell me about some of the other cast members in the show?
Yes, it's certainly not a two-person show by any means.
Regardless of how we act or behave.
Well, I wanted to write roles for people I've worked with before who would be fun to hang out with for 24 performances. So I have Allison Fraser, who's nominated twice for a Tony Award.
Brilliant.
And she, I worked with her several times, but never we've never sort of acted together. As a writer, I wrote the book to a musical that she was in, that her late husband wrote the score to, called The Green Heart, and then also another musical, Swingtime Canteen, we did together. Anything else we did together? Oh yes, and then I years ago did a kind of a cabaret review, and she was my guest star.
Oh, I saw that. That was wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
So I changed clothes a lot. Yeah, so we've sort of done skits together, but never played, and she's just divine. And then Amy Rutberg, who was in my play Our Leading Lady at Manhattan Theater Club.
Okay.
She plays the young postulant.
The perfect angelic, pretty, girl.
She's sort of Agnes of God.
Yes.
And then two people that I adore. I did the third story, my last play, with Jennifer Van Dyke and Jonathan Walker.
Okay.
And they live upstairs from me, and we all live in the same building.
Really?
And it's marvelous. We have like an acting troupe.
That's great.
Well, yes, and the two of them, it's so funny. We were laughing that sort of quickly we've become a little repertory company because they did the third story with me.
I saw that.
At La Jolla Playhouse, and then at the Lucille Lortel Theater. And then we did, last summer, we did a one-night stage reading benefit in Fire Island of All About Eve. Julie was in that.
I wanted to go to that. I didn't go to that. That's the one thing I missed.
Fun. Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
So we're sort of getting all these different roles, relationships that we've played, and that's just marvelous. I've loved that. I had that with our old theater company in the 80s. And it's wonderful to be so relaxed, working with the same people over and over, and having all these different theatrical stage relationships. Once here Jonathan and I were mother and son, and now we're sort of former lovers, and it's
Dragons?
Dragons? What's that? I get it.
Oh, you mean like in the third story? Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. Drag.
Dragons?
She's calling me a drag queen.
What's going on? But it just makes it easier when you know the people that you're working with, and you've worked with them so much before. It's that shorthand, and we're putting this on in a couple of weeks,
Wow.
And so we have to work quite quickly.
Has anything really off the wall ever happened? Like anything totally, something embarrassing happened during a show with you two?
Oh, people have lost their wigs.
Yes?
I mean, that has
Did you lose your wig? Did you lose your wig ever?
It's so funny that these things, at the time, they seem so horrific. And then after, it's saying, damn, I could have, I should have made a bit out of it.
Yeah.
But, at the time, one time well, there's several times, because, some actors, will crack up laughing during the show, and I never do. I never crack up, except if your wig falls off, that's the end of it. And one time we were doing a play called The Lady in Question.
I love that show.
And it was so awful because we had this understudy who was way too young for his part, and he had to go on, as a Nazi baron. And I saw that. And I said to him, Richard, I said, and he was so nervous because he was way too young for the part, and I said, you're going to be marvelous, and we are there for you. We are just there, so you just relax, because we will be there. Well, so we're all on stage together, and then Andy Halliday, who was a member of our company, was playing with sort of kind of this bad seed little girl with the wig on, and all of a sudden, I kind of pushed him back on a settee. He went back, and his wig slid halfway down his head, and then he started trying to kind of yank it back, and Andy's very cool. Andy didn't crack up at all, and he just finally, after, and I was sort of focused on stage watching this.
And poor Richard is behind them.
And then finally Andy is getting like the bangs caught up in the thing and trying to straighten it. Finally he just took the whole wig off, shook it, put it back on his head, And I just I was laughing so hard. I tried to stop. I was behind, turned my back down. I started shaking. I thought I was going to throw up. And then what made it worse is the poor understudy, sometimes with sweat just pouring down his face, you know.
We will be there for you. Oh, it was so horrible. That poor boy.
It's probably funny though.
I did it once before in Vampire Lesbians. I think it was after you had left the show. We had an understudy on.